Deanna, how are you at 24 hours afterward?
I'm doing good. How are you, Dr. Preston?
Good, but I didn't take the AP exam yesterday, so I just want to make sure you recovered.
Yeah, I did recover. Thank you.
Um, and who do we have? Is that Juan?
Yes.
How are you, my friend?
Good.
Good. So let's see here. Um, Deanna, I know that you've been writing, and I may actually owe you. You sent me, what did you send me? Remind me where we left off in our conversation about surviving with class.
I sent you my first draft for the Surviving Class My Chapter part, and you said you'd give it a second review. But I don't know if you have. I believe not, because I don't remember seeing any comments last time I checked.
Okay, so that was Thoughts of a Teenager Living Life Through Quarantine.
Yes.
Awesome. And you're right. I did not come back to it, and that's like forever ago. I'm embarrassed. Okay, so I'm opening that now in Docs, and literally right after this call, I will go through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think we just got swept up in AP prep.
Yeah.
And Juan, are you doing a piece for that too, or have you decided?
The life through quarantine one, right?
Yeah.
I think I sent you a rough draft also.
Okay, let me double check here. Juan, what's your email address?
This is 351719.
35, 17, 19. Got it. And so that was the one that was titled Essay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I got your messages about it, but I'm not seeing a draft. Did you send me one separate?
I might have. Let me check.
Did you put it in a Google Doc, or was it a Word doc or what?
Word. Yeah, Word.
Okay, I didn't get an attachment, so if you can just send me another quickie email and attach it, I can take a look at that today too.
All right.
Cool, thank you. All right, we got a couple other people coming online. Hello, Lena. And hi, Jennifer. Hey, Lena, did you send me your Surviving with Class piece yet?
Yeah, I shared it with you on Google Docs. Google Docs.
Okay, I'm going to open these all at once so I've got them all handy as soon as we get off the line here. Great, I see it, and I'm going to edit that and give you some feedback. And Jennifer, did you decide to participate in that, or? Are you recovered now from AP madness?
No, I haven't got into it. I'm gonna do it though.
Okay, cool. All right. So really now that, between the two classes, and I was kind of focused on Catch 22 for everybody, and then also for the AP students, I was focused on the exam. Now that that's behind us and we're all kind of back on the same page, I really want to focus on the year-end final projects. And for some people, we agreed that we could focus on surviving with class and writing about life during quarantine. Other people are deciding to focus on their big questions. And really, with the exception of, one last reflection, which I will ask people to do as sort of an evaluation of the course. And as always, just reflecting on how well you did. That's going to complete the work that we have to do for the year. And when we think about it, today is already May 21st. We're talking about 3 more weeks, essentially. So just to check in, does anybody have any questions about that process other than what we've already discussed? Does anybody have any questions about grades or anything else as far as the end of the year goes?
Wait, so the reflection will be like a post that we'll put on our blog, like our final post, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll give you specifics on that. You're not going to have to think too hard. It's really just, basically when you really think about it, as far as your blog is concerned, it's an opportunity to show off one last time in terms of what you've learned this year. And ordinarily we would be using that for the Masterpiece Academy. But since that went bust with the closure, I'm really just giving you an opportunity in the same way that you had a welcome post to basically have a capstone post for the school year. And then your blog is yours. You can continue it for whatever purposes you see fit, or you can say that was good and leave it where it is, and start a new one, or live life to the fullest in whatever way you think is appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Sounds good.
Sure. Okay, so if there's nothing else in terms of new business, then let's get into Catch 22. And I'm going to go ahead and queue it up here and get to what I think is the right page. I think we were on 49, maybe. All right, I'm going to share my screen and then we can figure out where we want to pick up. Oh, that's right. We were talking about Lieutenant Scheisskopf. So did you see the post that I put up about this? I had a similar post for both courses on this. But in yesterday's reading, which is now the day before yesterday's reading, we talked about Lieutenant Scheisskopf, and I didn't go so far as to write the name translation on the blog, but does anyone remember what it means?
Yeah, shit.
So yes, but you're not willing to say it. So you're going to make me do the dirty work? Okay. Kopf means head. Scheiss means about what you think. So when you put them together, it's Lieutenant Shithead. And when I asked the question, why did the author have so much fun with the names in this book? What did we talk about last time in terms of his tone? What's his attitude towards most of the characters that we've met so far?
He practically doesn't like any of them.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of respect there. So the reason this is important, you know, in our time, it's not unusual to see a movie or a book with characters who are sort of like anti-heroes, right? Has anybody seen the movie Hancock or Die Hard? Does this ring a bell? Another kind of old school. But both of them use like or any of the Marvel movies, like the superheroes are kind of superhero-y, but they're also kind of human and they have flaws, and some of them just have like bad attitudes. How about Deadpool? My 14-year-old's chuckling at me off screen. Deadpool's got a horrible attitude. He's sarcastic. He's kind of a dick. That's not usually a characteristic we would associate with heroes. And when this book was written, we didn't have that really. If you saw a wartime soldier character, that character was honorable. It was like, I'm shot, go on without me, right? These characters, though, are undeniably human. And you can imagine the author, or at least I have when I've read this book, sitting around like, who would name somebody Lieutenant Scheisskopf? I mean, obviously, there's an attitude there. But let's go one step deeper. If that's his tone, right? If that's his attitude toward the characters, what's the underlying message? What's the theme that he really wants the readers to understand when he portrays characters in this way?
Like even heroes are human?
Yeah. And just because somebody's in a war, it doesn't make them superhuman. In fact, sometimes it reveals flaws that are even deeper than what we would see in real life, right? So with that being said, let's take another look at the reading. And we were, how far have we gotten here? I know we were talking about Clevenger being a dope and Lieutenant Scheisskopf being the kind of guy that would really sort of like say one thing and do another, right? Clevenger was like, oh, he's so cool. He's telling me to be honest. And Clevenger was like, no, or sorry, Yossarian was like, no, he's clearly telling you to keep your mouth shut, right? So I think we got to this point here. In 60 days, you'll be fighting Billy Patrol, the colonel with the big fat mustache roared. And you think it's a big fat joke. I don't think it's a joke, sir, Clevenger replied. Don't interrupt. Yes, sir. And say sir when you do, ordered Major Metcalf. Yes, sir. Weren't you just ordered not to interrupt? Major Metcalf inquired coldly. But I didn't interrupt, sir, Clevenger protested. No. And you didn't say sir either. Obviously he did, twice. Add that to the charges against him, Major Metcalf directed the corporal who could take shorthand. Failure to say sir to superior officers when not interrupting them. Metcalf, said the colonel, you're a goddamn fool. You know that? Major Metcalf swallowed with difficulty. Yes, sir. Then keep your goddamn mouth shut. You don't make sense. Now, let's come back to the use of language. Obviously, this is the kind of thing where if a student said a sentence like that in a class and a teacher was so inclined, they'd be sent to an assistant principal. Why in the world would Joseph Heller write dialogue that included language that we would consider inappropriate in some contexts? This is me asking you that question. Anybody have an idea? Why would he have a character acting inappropriately in any way? We just talked about it. I'm not trying to trick you.
Like just to show that they're human. They have their flaws. They're not perfect.
Absolutely. There were three members of the action board. You know, I'm reading terribly today. Who wants to help? Lena, you weren't here yesterday. Will you read?
Leave off.
You see where I highlighted it?
Okay. I think I can. Okay. It's because I have it on my Okay, whatever.
Is it
I'll
hard
look
to
for it
see?
later. Oh, it's because I had mine, my text open, so I was just looking for it.
Oh, okay. We're on page 56. Does that help you?
Yeah. And it's the second paragraph, or
Yeah, there were three members of the action board.
paragraph 1, paragraph 2.
And if anybody else has it and they want to jump in and help her out, that's fine too. I was just picking on Lena because I missed you yesterday.
And I was weird because I couldn't get in.
Oh, bummer.
Just weird. Paragraph 1. Okay. There are three members of the action board: the bloated colonel,
Colonel.
colonel,
Yep.
with the big fat mustache, Lieutenant Saiskoff, and Major Metcalf, who was trying to develop a steely gaze. As a member of the action board, Lieutenant Saiskoff was one of the judges who would weigh the merits of the case against Clevenger. As presented by this prosecutor, the Lieutenant Saiskoff was also the prosecutor. Clevenger had an officer defending him. The officer defending him was Lieutenant Saiskoff.
Now, wait a second. What's wrong with this picture?
Lieutenant Saiskoff is a hypocrite?
Well, he's definitely a hypocrite because he said, yes, I want your input, and now he's putting Clevenger up on charges. That's true. You're right. But in this situation, what's specifically wrong? If you were in court and the prosecutor was saying the charges against you, wouldn't you want your defending attorney to be somebody else other than that same person?
He's the prosecutor and the defendant. Oh my god.
Yeah, it just said Clevenger is presented by the prosecutor. Lieutenant Saiskoff was also the prosecutor. Clevenger had an officer defending him. The officer defending him was Lieutenant Saiskoff.
How does that even work?
It clearly doesn't. This is Joseph Heller having fun with us again. All right, Lena.
It was all very confusing to Clevenger, who began vibrating in terror, and the colonel
Good.
surged to his feet like a gigantic belch.
Belch.
And threatened belch?
Yeah, like a burp.
And threatened to rip his stinky, cowardly body apart limb from limb. One day he had stumbled while marching to class. The next day he was formally charged with breaking ranks while information. Felonious
Felonious, like a felony.
assault. Indiscriminate behavior. Mopery? Mopery? What's
Mopery. It's like being charged for moping.
that? Oh.
I'm not even sure that's a real word.
High treason, provoking, being a smart guy, listening to classical music, and so on.
Now, wait a second. How can you charge somebody formally for being a smart guy?
I don't even know.
And when did listening to classical music become a crime?
When did mopery become a thing?
I don't know, but if it were, I'd be guilty. Okay, Lena, keep going.
In short, they threw the book at him, and there he was, standing in dread before the bloated colonel, who roared once more that in 60 days he would be fighting Billy Patrol, and demanded to know how the hell he would like being washed out and shipped out to Solomon Island to bury bodies. Are they burying him alive?
No, that would be like the horrible detail. You know how like kitchen patrol is kind of a bummer job because you have to do the dishes?
Oh, yeah.
Well, imagine being shipped out to some remote island group in the Pacific to bury corpses.
Oh.
It's pretty much punishment.
Clevenger replied with courtesy that he would not like it. He was a dope who would rather be a corpse than bury one. The colonel sat down and settled back calm and cagey.
Cagey means like crafty, sneaky.
And cagey suddenly in I don't know how to say that word.
Ingratiatingly.
Huh?
I'll try it. Ingratiatingly.
Ingratiationality.
Yeah. So what the author's saying here, the colonel sat down. So he's just been in Clevenger's face. He's just been yelling at him and being rude to him and trying to intimidate him. But now all of a sudden he's changing his tune. Now he's sitting down, settled back. He's calm. He's crafty. And ingratiatingly means like, I want to get you to be grateful to me, to being polite. Like he's trying to like cozy up to him. If it were me, I would actually be more uncomfortable with somebody who was being mean to me if I couldn't trust what I was seeing and hearing from them. When they were yelling at me, okay, that I get. But now all of a sudden you're being nice to me? Like, what's up with that? Go ahead.
Polite. What did you mean? He inquired slowly. When you said we couldn't punish you. When, sir? I'm asking the questions. You're answering them. Yes, sir. Do you think we brought you here to ask questions and for me to answer them? No, sir. What did we bring you here for? To answer questions. You're goddamn right, roared the colonel. Now supposed to start answering some before I break your goddamn head.
I know.
Just what the hell did you mean, you bastard, when you said we couldn't punish you? I don't think I ever made my statement, sir. Will you speak up, please? I couldn't hear you. Yes, sir. Will you speak up, please? He couldn't hear you. Yes, sir. Metcalf.
Okay, before you go on, how would it be, Lena, you're about the sweetest person on earth, so I want you to know I don't mean anything I'm about to say. But how would it be all of a sudden if I said, hey, what did you mean when you said this class sucked? What do you mean, Answer the questions. What did you mean by that?
The class was I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You're supposed to know things. How am I supposed to grade somebody who doesn't know things? This is the kind of nonsense that this guy's now doing to Clevenger. And because of the power relationship, right? Like if a teacher actually meant that and rocked a student back on their heels in front of everybody else in the class, that'd be really uncomfortable. And then it would be like, well, you know, Clevenger's asking when, like, when did I say that? It's an honest question. And then Lieutenant Scheisskopf turns the tables on that and says, wait a minute, are you here to ask the questions or answer? The whole thing is a ridiculous power play that makes no sense. So he goes on, sir, didn't I tell you to keep your stupid mouth shut? Yes, sir. Then keep your stupid mouth shut when I tell you to keep your stupid mouth shut. Do you understand? Will you speak up, please? I couldn't hear you. So he's saying, keep your mouth shut. And then he's asking him questions which require him to open his mouth. There's no way to win this. Metcalf, is that your foot I'm stepping on? No, sir. It must be Lieutenant Scheisskopf's foot. It isn't my foot, said Lieutenant Scheisskopf. But maybe it is my foot after all, said Major Metcalf. Move it. Yes, sir. You'll have to move your foot first, Colonel. I almost made the same mistake. It's on top of mine. Are you telling me to move my foot? No, sir. Oh, no, sir. Then move your foot and keep your stupid mouth shut. Will you speak up, please? I still couldn't hear you. Yes, sir. I said that I didn't say that you couldn't punish me. Just what the hell are you talking about? I'm answering your question, sir. What question? Just what the hell did you mean, you bastard, when we said we couldn't punish you? Said the corporal who could take shorthand reading from his steno pad. All right, said the colonel. Just what the hell did you mean? Now, I am going to take a break from this to show you something, since we have all of the internet at our disposal. Has anyone ever heard of the comedy routine, Who's On First? By Abbott and Costello?
No.
All right.
Oh yes, I've seen that before. That was hilarious.
Have you?
The logic, but like I saw it during a science class, and the teacher was like, "See, this logic doesn't make any sense," but it was pretty funny.
I'm going to play a snippet just so that you can get a feel for it, and then I'm going to embed the rest of it on the course blog. Can you all see and hear that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Friends, I told you that my partner would be here, and here he is. Didn't you expect him, did you? Now, he always shapes up. Now, why not let the folks themselves ask for something that they'd like to hear?
All right, what would they like to hear?
Something different. Now, is there anything special that you would like to hear us do?
Baseball.
No, wait a minute, friends. You don't want to hear that, do you?
Yeah, we got the props for you here. Oh, you came prepared, didn't you?
All set, huh? Well, this is a must. I guess it's a must. We've got to do it. Well, I'll tell you what to do. Let me see. That looks all right.
Okay, all
Now,
right.
we'll pretend. We'll just pretend. All right, I'll take it easy with that. We'll just pretend that we're organizing a baseball team here at the retired actors' home. And I am the manager. Now,
You're going to be the manager of the retired actors baseball team?
yes.
I would like to join the retired actors baseball team.
Oh, you would?
I would like to know some of the guys' names on the team, so if I want to play with them, I know them, I meet them on the street or in the home here, I can say hello to them.
Oh, sure. But you know they give baseball players nowadays very peculiar names.
You know, a lot of funny names.
You know, like Sticky Fields,
Sticky Field.
Goofy Dan, Boopy Bobber, Booby Bobber. Well, let's see now. We have on our team, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
That's what I want to find out, the guy's name.
And then,
That's what I want to find out, the guy's name.
I'm telling you, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
But you want to be the manager of the baseball team?
Yes.
You know the guy's name?
Oh, I should.
Well, you tell me the guy's names on the baseball
I
team.
say, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
You ain't saying nothing to me yet. Go ahead and tell me.
I'm telling you.
You ain't said nothing yet. Go ahead and tell me.
Who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
You know the guy's names on the baseball team?
Yes.
Well, go ahead. Who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the guy's name.
Who?
The guy playing first.
Who?
The guy playing first base.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who is on first?
What are you asking me for? I don't know.
Now, wait a minute.
I'm asking you who's on first.
Okay, you guys get a feel for that?
Yeah.
All right, now coming back to Lieutenant Scheisskopf, Abbott and Costello did that on purpose for comedic effect. However, in this environment, if you think of these characters as people, they're just missing each other and making stuff up and trying to make each other uncomfortable and asserting their power. But the author who's writing this dialogue has a specific reason. And basically what he's trying to do is create an Abbott and Costello-like feel to this scene. You just told us that. Now suppose you answer my question. But how can I answer it? That's another question you're asking me. I'm sorry, sir, but I don't know how to answer it. I never said you couldn't punish me. Now you're telling us when you did say it. I'm asking you to tell us when you didn't say it. Clevenger took a deep breath. I always didn't say you couldn't punish me, sir. Now, do you get the beat and the rhythm of this? These double negatives are creating the same kind of environment as Abbott and Costello by using the wrong names. That's much better, Mr. Clevenger, even though it is a barefaced lie. Last night in the latrine. Latrine is the military bathroom. Didn't you whisper that we couldn't punish you to that other dirty son of a bitch we don't like? What's his name? Yossarian, sir, Lieutenant Sheiskov said. Yes, Yossarian. That's right, Yossarian. Yossarian? Is that his name? Yossarian? What the hell kind of a name is Yossarian? Lieutenant Sheiskov had the facts at his fingertips. It's Yossarian's name, sir, he explained. Yes, I suppose it is. Didn't you whisper to Yossarian that we couldn't punish you? Oh, no, sir. I whispered to him that you couldn't find me guilty. I may be stupid, interrupted the colonel, but the distinction escapes me. I guess I am pretty stupid because the distinction escapes me. What? You're a windy son of a bitch, aren't you? I mean, talkative. Nobody asked you for clarification, and you're giving me clarification. I was making a statement, not asking for clarification. You are a windy son of a bitch, aren't you? No, sir. No, sir? Are you calling me a goddamn liar? Oh, no, sir. Then you're a windy son of a bitch, aren't you? No, sir. Are you a windy son of a bitch? No, sir. God damn it, you were trying to pick a fight with me. For 2 stinking cents, I'd jump over this big fat table and rip your stinking cowardly body apart limb from limb. Do it, cried Major Metcalf. Now Lieutenant Sheiskov turns on Major Metcalf again. Metcalf, you stinking son of a bitch, did I tell you to keep your stinking, cowardly, stupid mouth shut? Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Then suppose you do it. I was only trying to learn, sir. The only way a person can learn is by trying. Who says so? Everybody says so, sir. Even Lieutenant Sheiskov says so. Do you say so? Yes, sir, Lieutenant Sheiskov. But everybody says so. Well, Metcalf, suppose you try keeping that stupid mouth of yours shut, and maybe that's the way you'll learn how. Now, where were we? Read me back the last line. Read me back the last line, read back the corporal who could take shorthand. Not my last line, stupid, the colonel shouted. Somebody else's. Read me back the last line, read back the corporal. That's my last line again, shrieked the colonel, turning purple with anger. Oh, no, sir, corrected the corporal. That's my last line. I read it to you just a moment ago. Don't you remember, sir? It was only a moment ago. Oh, my God. Read me back his last line, stupid. Say, what the hell's your name anyway? Popinjay, sir. Well, you're next, Popinjay. As soon as his trial ends, your trial begins. Get it? Yes, sir. What will I be charged with? What the hell difference does that make? Did you hear what he asked me? You're going to learn, Popinjay. The minute we finish with Clevenger, you're going to learn. Cadet Clevenger, what did you are Cadet Clevenger, aren't you, and not Popinjay? Yes, sir. Good. What did I'm Popinjay, sir. Popinjay, is your father a millionaire or a member of the Senate? No, sir. Then you're up shit creek, Popinjay, without a paddle. He's not a general or a high-ranking member of the administration, is he? No, sir. That's good. What does your father do? He's dead, sir. That's very good. You really are up the creek, Popinjay. Is Popinjay really your name? Just what the hell kind of a name is Popinjay anyway? I don't like it. It's Popinjay's name, sir, Lieutenant Sheiskov explained. Well, I don't like it, Popinjay, and I just can't wait to rip your stinking, cowardly body apart limb from limb. Cadet Clevenger, will you please repeat what the hell it was you did or did not whisper to Yossarian late last night in the latrine? Yes, sir. I said that you couldn't find me guilty. We'll take it from there. I'm exhausted. Precisely what did you mean, Cadet Clevenger, when you said we couldn't find you guilty? I didn't say that you couldn't find me guilty, sir. When? When what, sir? God damn it, are you start pumping me again? No, sir, I'm sorry, sir. Then answer the question. When didn't you say we couldn't find you guilty? Late last night in the latrine, sir. Is that the only time you didn't say it? No, sir. I always didn't say you couldn't find me guilty, sir. What I did say to Yossarian was, nobody asked you what you did say to Yossarian. We asked you what you didn't say to him. We're not at all interested in what you did say to Yossarian. Is that clear? Can you imagine a court case that went like this? Anyone?
Be terribly. I wouldn't want to sit through that.
Oh my God. I can barely read this without cracking up. It's so ridiculous. But then on top of it now, he's saying, we're not interested in what you did do. We're interested in what you didn't do. And Clevenger's saying, well, I always didn't do that. Can you imagine being called to the principal's office and being told, you know what, Deanna, You're guilty, and we are interested in what you didn't do.
I wouldn't even know how to respond. I'd be like, what?
Exactly. I'm going to read a little bit more of this, and then I'm going to give myself a break and say we're done. Where do we are? Okay, then we'll go on. What did you say to Yossarian? I said to him, sir, that you couldn't find me guilty of the offense with which I am charged and still be faithful to the cause of what? You're mumbling. Stop mumbling. Yes, sir. And mumble, sir, when you do. Metcalf, you bastard. Yes, sir, mumbled Clevenger. Of justice, sir. That you couldn't find justice? The colonel was astounded. What is justice? Justice, sir. That's not what justice is, the colonel jeered and began pounding the table again with his big fat hand. That's what Karl Marx is. I'll tell you what justice is. Justice is a knee in the gut from the floor on the chin at night, sneaky with a knife brought up down on the magazine of a battleship, sandbagged underhanded in the dark without a word of warning. This guy's insane. So here's what we're going to do. I'm actually going to put up the Abbott and Costello who's on first bit. I'm going to put that next to this, and I'm going to talk about the dialogue and ask what kind of tone the dialogue sets. Now, before we go, we've got, let's see, how much to go. So the next section, can you see on the screen, I've highlighted it here, is only about a page away. So I'm just going to ask you to finish reading this section on your own since we're a little over half an hour now. And I'm wondering, before we go, does anybody have any last minute questions or comments on this passage that we've read today? And Lena, I don't know if you're still with us. Did Lena get disconnected? No. I was going to thank her for reading. Well, I appreciate Lena's reading. And for the rest of us, please go ahead and check the blog in about probably 20 minutes, half an hour. I'll have it ready. So by 2 o'clock. And along with that, if you have sent me something for surviving with class, I'm on it today. I'll get it back to you so we can talk about it tomorrow. If you haven't sent something yet, this is a great time to do that, and let me know if you need any help. Any last shots for the day? All right, everybody, I'm going to stop the screen share and come back and say thanks all. And what did I see in the chat? Oh, Lena just said she's sorry, but she's got a meeting in a minute, so she's out of here. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.